everyone. Welcome to the lesson on periodic table. Periodic table is the most powerful tool for a chemist to organize chemical information. You can easily understand the behavior of an element if you know where it is on the periodic table. Many of the chemical symbols are derived from English name, whereas some come from other languages. The symbol for gold is Au, from the Latin word aurum meaning gold. The symbol for tungsten is W. In Swedish, meaning for the word tungsten is heavy stone. Each element is represented by one square on the periodic table having 1 or 2 letters as their chemical symbol. Above the symbol is the atomic number of the element, and below the symbol will be the name of the element and its atomic mass. For instance, the symbol for boron is B and its atomic number is 5. And below the chemical symbol, there will be full name of the element and its atomic mass. Most elements on the periodic table are metals, and they can be seen on the left side and in the middle of the periodic table. If you look at the periodic table, you can see atoms are listed in order of increasing atomic number if you read the periodic table from left to right and also from top to bottom. A vertical column of elements is called a group. There are 18 groups in the periodic table. The elements in group will be having same properties. For example, they may be having similar color, similar melting point or similar crystal structure. And there are 7 horizontal rows in a periodic table. These horizontal rows are called periods. The elements in first group are called alkali metals, whereas the elements in second group are called alkaline earth metals. And the elements which you can see in the middle of the periodic table are called transition metals. And most of these metals are shiny and they are conductors of heat and electricity. Now let's look at the right side of the periodic table. Generally, these non-metals are found right side of the periodic table except for hydrogen, which is on the left side. Elements like carbon, sulfur, oxygen, nitrogen, all these which I have marked here are non-metals. These non-metals don't conduct electricity. We cannot draw them into wires. In fact, if we try to bend them, they just break if we try to do anything out of them. For example, if you take carbon, carbon is a non-metal. Carbon is just like charcoal. Another example is sulfur. Sulfur is a yellow color powder, which is again a non-metal. So all these non-metals, they don't conduct electricity. You can see a dividing line between the metals and non-metals on the periodic table. This dividing line between metals and non-metals is drawn as a thick staircase. The elements that are found on either side of the staircase are called metalloids. These metalloids are also called semi-metals because the properties of these metalloids fall between metals and non-metals. They share the properties of both metals and non-metals. The most important metalloid is silicon because all our computers and the cameras that we are using today are made up of silicon. Let's have a look at post-transition metals. These post-transition metals are also called basic metals. Some periodic table they do refer them as other metals or they are also called basic metals. Generally, the melting point and boiling point of these post-transition metals will be lower than normal metals, and the texture of these post-transition metals are softer than other metals which you can see on the periodic table. Now we will look at the right hand side of the periodic table. The very last column on the periodic table are called noble gases. These noble gases are also called inert gases. Elements like helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, all these are noble gases. These noble gases are very stable. They don't react. That's why these noble gases are also called inert gases. Let's look at the second column from the right in the periodic table. These elements which are in the group 17 are called halogens. These halogens are highly reactive. They combine with metals to form salts. For example, sodium chloride, that is table salt that we use at home, has chlorine. Chlorine is a halogen. And another example is iodine. Iodine is used as antiseptic. Now let's look at these two boxes which are empty and are numbered from 57 to 71 and 89 to 103. These two boxes will take you to the bottom of the periodic table where there are two rows of 14 columns. And the elements in the first row are called lanthanides and the elements in the second row are called actinides. These elements are also called inner transition metals. The groups in the periodic table have been named in many ways over the years. Depending on which periodic table you look at, it may have three systems for numbering a group. You may see the groups labeled with Roman numbers with A and B in them. This numbering system of groups was famous in North America and Europe. There was a lot of confusion in this numbering system. So to eliminate this confusion, International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, that is IUPAC, proposed a system in which groups are numbered from 1 to 18. Now you can see in most of the periodic table, groups are numbered from 1 to 18 with no A's or B's. Let's do a quick recap of what we have learned in this lesson before winding up. You got your alkali metals, alkaline earth metals, and transition metals on the left side of the periodic table. Basically, all the metals are found on the left side of the periodic table. On the right side of the periodic table, you can see post-transition metals. Metalloids or semi-metals can be seen between metals and non-metals. And the non-metals can be seen next to metalloids except for the hydrogen, which is on the left side of the periodic table. And the group 17 elements are called halogens. And the elements in group 18 are called noble gases. And these are lanthanides. And these elements are called actinides. The vertical column of elements are called groups and horizontal rows are called periods. There are 94 naturally occurring elements on Earth and the remaining 24 are synthesized in the laboratory. And that brings us to the end of the lesson on periodic table. If you like this video, please do like, share and subscribe to Quick Science and hit the bell icon which is next to the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.